Hi everyone, I'm Freddie. I like to read. Over the last few years, I've been trying to work down my physical TBR because I could see that I was buying more books than I was actually reading. Not reading in total, but just reading of my physical TBR because ebooks and audiobooks are so readily available that I kind of forget to read my physical books. In part also because when I'm on my commute back and forward to my office, it's easier to read a book on my Kindle or listen to an audiobook. That's actually the very easiest thing. And I know that I'm not alone if I say that I spent a few years buying many more books than I was reading. But since I've started focusing on reducing that and buying fewer books at the same time, I've gotten it down to 126 books that I own that I have not read yet. So that's not the worst number I've ever seen, but it's not where I want it at either. And some of these books have been on my TBR for a really long time, like more than half my life long, kind of long time. So today I thought I'd go through every single book that I own that I haven't read with you guys. So strap in because this will be a bit of a ride. We're just gonna start over here with the shelf that's easiest to get to. This is the books that are on my 2025 TBR, which I have a video about. So I'm just gonna go through them quickly. I put them all to the side here together so it's easier for me to remember, and I see them all the time and I'm reminded to read these for crying out loud. So we have Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. We have Malice by John Gwynne, Belladonna by Adeline Grace, Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, Misery by Stephen King, The Danish Girl by David Ebershoff, The Tower of the Swallow by Andrzej Sapkowski, Empire of Ivory by Naomi Novik, The Ambassador's Mission by Trudy Canavan, The Lords of the North by Bernard Cornwell, The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris, Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, Jomsviking by Susanne Clod Pedersen, Maskespil by Anna Tofdal Olesen and Kira Axelsen, The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, The Water Knife by Paolo Bacigalupi, and Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Now we're moving on to what is a mix of classics and historical fantasy. We have Rin Tin Tin by Susan Orlean, How We Disappeared by Jing Jing Lee, Ildblomsten by Malcolm Bosse. This is one book split into two. Dyr, der krydsede min vej by Karen Åby, A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, Slaget ved Kadesh by Christian Schack, Abu Simbels Herskerinde, also by Christian Schack, and the last by Christian Schack, Under det hellige Acacia-træ. Now this is a translated series, was originally in French. Then we have The Death of Kings by Connie Goulden and The Field of Swords, also by Connie Goulden. This is a 3-book bind-up called Ridder Hjalmar by Susanne Clod Pedersen. Also by Susanne Clod Pedersen, we have Odintulven, Fenrisfæren, Blodringen, and Kongestormen. Then we have Kampen om sværdet by Lars Henrik Olsen, Kvasers Blod by Lars Henrik Olsen, and Gudernes skæbne, also by Lars Henrik Olsen. This is called The Norse Testament. It's a collection of myths and stories from the Viking Ages, retold by Vagn Lundby. And now we have a lot of Bernard Cornwell, so I'm just gonna say the titles. The Burning Land, Death of Kings, The Pagan Lord, The Empty Throne, Warriors of the Storm, The Flame Bearer, War of the Wolf, and Sword of Kings. Whew, my arm is getting tired. Now we're down to some shelves where I don't have to stand on my chair to reach. Let's see, what have I not read here? We have Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. Looking for Alaska by John Green. The Fault in Our Stars, also by John Green. Min mormor hilser og siger undskyld by Frederick Backman. I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. Paper Towns by John Green. Lejlighed 13B Sasha by Sophia M. Roddam. And Loveless by Alice Oseman. On my comics and manga shelves, I have read every single one, so that's a quick skip. I might end up in the shot for this one, but not much I can do about it. Here we have some more classics. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. And then these are translated Jack London books, which I mostly bought for the edition, but we'll still go through them. Det Store Vidunder, En Klondike-helt, Sneens Datter. And then this is Call of the Wild and White Fang, which I've read. And then we have The Complete Sherlock Holmes, where I have read 1 or 2, but there's a lot more still to come. Mørkets Gerninger by Tina Wagner. So here are my George R. Martin books, which the only one I haven't read is Fire and Blood. And then down here I have my Tamora Pierce books, and I haven't read Mastiff. Let's see, on this shelf we have The Heart Forger by Rin Chupeco, Firestarter by Tara Sim, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, To Best the Boys by Mary Weber, These Rebel Waves by Sarah Rash, and The Beholder by Anna Bright. Yeah, don't fall. Then on this shelf we have The last in the Witcher series, The Lady of the Lake by Andrzej Sapkowski. We have Bayristias Beskytter by Jannik Bay Christensen. Væddermændenes Nat by Tobias Stenbæk Bro. Månen over Morka by Frida Borello. Sortørnens Øje by Simon Sander. Stilhed og Storm by Simon Sander. Then a complete trilogy by K.L. Bauer. Sjælehenteren. Døden lyver aldrig. And Dødens Engel. And then the last one on this shelf, we have Ravnenes Viske by Malene Sølsten. On this, which is one of my Brandon Sanderson shelves, I have the little book that came with the Kickstarter, which is Long Chills and K-Stow. And I still need to get to Tress of the Emerald Sea, The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, and Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Down here we have The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lost Stories by John Flanagan, and The Royal Ranger by John Flanagan. Down here we have Silver Chief to the Rescue, Silver Chief's Revenge, both by Jack O'Brien, Den Sorte Hings gør oprør by Walter Frawley, Gnisten går amok, Den Sorte Hings starter på ny, Den Sorte Hings bliver udfordret, De glemte hestes ø, and Hingsten Flamme by Walter Frawley. And then I have Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. In case you didn't notice, this is very much horse-related books from my childhood, and also dog. Now we've gotten to the last of my bookcases. Family Don't End With Blood, which is a collection of essays by cast and fans of Supernatural, so not really one author. The Shining by Stephen King, Doctor Sleep, also by Stephen King, and It by Stephen King. Then we have The Call of Cthulhu and Other Weird Stories by H.P. Lovecraft, The Lovecraft Compendium, also by H.P. Lovecraft, Dracula by Bram Stoker, Classic Tales of Horror by Edgar Allan Poe, Heart of Darkness and Tales of Unrest by Joseph Conrad, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, Hannibal Rising by Thomas Harris, and Hannibal by Thomas Harris. And then last on this shelf, we have Skulptøren by Heidi Strømsted Rosenqvist. Let's see, here we have The Burning World by Isaac Marion, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, and Tilflytterne efter krigen om solen by Elizabeth Yarddale. Oh, we're getting close. Here we have Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson and Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. Then we have Steelheart, Firefight, and Calamity by Brandon Sanderson. And then in Arcanum Unbounded, I'm missing a couple of the short stories. I read by far the most of this, but it is technically still unread. We're in the final sprint, The Rogue, and The Traitor Queen by Trudy Kahneman. We have A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, A Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, and The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan. Broken like 2 separate nails on this. Let's see, down here we have Tunnelmanden by Dennis Jørgensen, Victory of Eagles, and Tongues of Serpents by Naomi Novik. Now just to put everything back where it was for the outro. I'm tired. I just remembered that I do have some books lying around that I've started that are technically still in my TBR. So we have The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. And come with me into the living room where we have Super ADHD by Maj-Britt Augustinus and The Boy Who Followed His Father into Auschwitz by Jeremy Dronfield. Now that should be all of them. So that was all 126 books that I own that I have not read. That was a lot. Now it's my turn to ask, how many unread books do you have sitting around? Are you using any strategies to lower that number, or are you just embracing it? Just living with all the unread books, just basking in it. Let me know in the comments below. And also, if there were any books on my TBR that you're like, yeah, she should definitely read those right now. Tell me and give me like a little sales pitch, and maybe it'll make its way onto my March TBR. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye!